Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another GDR Dev Diary. This may be one of the more controversial ones, if I had to assume. But I want to say, don't worry. It's not as bad as you think. And hear me out before you leave a comment and stuff like that. And if you do, please remember to be civil, please. Um, a while back, I got a request to add some sort of small economy system to the game, and it was suggested that it could even help with like features in the future, like maybe some sort of U.S. rework and stuff like that. The economy would help with that, and I wasn't quite sure, but I thought maybe something simple would be okay. And I got to working on something just real bare bones, and actually is pretty cool, at least in my opinion. So I kind of want to show you what I've got cooking so far. I've been working quite hard on it, just to get it out quite fast. But I want to see what you think. And before you worry about it being like Millennium Dawn, or being like Black Ice, or being like TNO or anything like that, it's not. This economy system, we'll call it the GOAT's economy system, right? This economy system is based on only two things, mainly. Now, of course, there's extra stuff as well, but the two main things are going to be your civilian factories, and then it's going to be your military spending. Now, the more civilian factories you have in this mod, in the current system, the more money you'll make. And the bigger your army is, the more military spending you have, the more that expenses. So it's kind of built into those two things, but let me show you here. It's all built into the diplomacy tab, or not the diplomacy tab, I guess you could call it the country tab. And you can see there's a new tab here called country specifics, and there's all these fun things. This one doesn't work yet, whoops. Oh, that's fun, that just has normal names, cool. And then there's two bars on each like opposite side. Now obviously these are a work in progress. I'd like to get better pictures, maybe even hire someone to do better pictures for these. That would be great. But yeah, military spending and revenue from factories, and you can see this goes up from not filled at all to all the way filled. So and this, of course, like I just said, depends on your factories, and this updates like every week. So that's cool. And then this is the same thing, but military spending. So those kind of fight each other. You can see it's quite expensive. I've renamed all of this. Political power is now revenue, so now it says daily revenue gain, all that kind of stuff. Pretty cool. So that's your main thing. Now you can see, of course, this is going to be different for other countries. You can see we have level 4 and then level 4 for Germany. It's actually balanced in 1936. Let's see England, for example, or sorry, the UK. Looks like they got 4 and then 4 as well, so they have the same. But then let's go to a country like, I don't know, let's do China. Why not? See, China has only level 3, and they also have level 4 military spending, so they have less revenue than they do military spending. So that's definitely not a good position to be in for sure. And let's check one more. Let's try the Soviets. This should be interesting. You can see they have all the way up at level 7 revenue, and they have all the way to the max level 10 military spending, because they have a huge military at the start of the game. So that is a lot of expenses. But you can also see the other things that we have here, such as education. There's an education slot, there's a tax slot, there will be a welfare slot, and then there's inflation rate. So these, all they are things that you can change if you like, just like these, just like laws, that have certain bonuses, certain things you can do to kind of shift your economy around and do a little bit better. And then this, you can't change. You can't change any of these manually. You have to do it for decisions. But this changes based on other events. And there's not a lot of pop-ups or anything like that adds onto this. There is pop-ups for inflation rising, but I'm going to have a feature that shuts that off, so you don't have to listen to those events, and it will try to fix it for you when it can. Of course, it won't be perfect, but that's just for people who really don't want to hear anything about this. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think something simple like this, where it's literally just two things with other things that supplement it, is fine. It's not crazy. It's not Millennium Dawn, where you have a million different sliders you're changing around and all these like tutorials you have to watch. There's not really a tutorial for this. I actually made a small one that you can click with a decision, but I don't think it's too complicated. But there is a bunch of decisions that I've added as well, just for like bonus things. You can see there's these two new there is this new menu called Macroeconomics, and it kind of like splits everything up. It's even color coded. Red decisions are to help a struggling economy. Green decisions are to help our nation. Yellow decisions are to change our economic laws. We can click like education policy, for example, and then it just gives you an event where you can click through and pick what you want, and then it takes a month to actually spawn in. You can also just say never mind if you'd like. So that is that. That's how you change these little guys right here. And they all have their own little caveats and stuff like that. And of course each nation will have their own already selected at game start. Same with the tax policy. And then there's some other decisions here. There's some manpower decisions. There's some army experience decisions that cost money now. And then this is stuff to do with inflation. We'll talk about that in a second. This as well. There's also the tutorial, like I said. You can go through all this. Blah, blah, blah. And you can decrease it. You can have your inflation measures. And also you can request a bailout. So now, if you are very low money, you can actually request a bailout. And another decision menu will pop up talking about bailouts. And if you want to, and the AI can do it too, they usually will do it if they have good relations with you, you're the same ideology, stuff like that, and of course they're not at war with you and shit. They will actually give you money, and in exchange, your opinion will improve both ways, so that's cool. And also, I think another immersive thing for multiplayer. I'm trying to focus on multiplayer a little bit more, so that's part of that. So yeah, bailouts, those are neat. You can do that if you're in a tough spot. People might help you, they might not, if you are not very liked, of course, like Germany probably. And then let's talk about inflation. So there are a couple things you can do to actually cause inflation. Of course, printing money helps a lot. There's a very high chance that inflation will rise then. You can also just straight up increase it if you'd like. You can also do decreasing measures. But it is this number right here. You can see we start off with 0.5%. This is also different for everyone. So if we tag to the Soviets, they have 4% already. That was not like that in the base game. They're suffering quite a bit. Now again, remember all these numbers and shit are not final, so don't freak out if people are in the negatives and stuff. Someone like China is like very high, 10%, 20%. And of course, inflation has different problems, you can see. Some actually have benefits. I've tried to make it more interesting, not like these things where you just go to total mob and then you can ignore it. You know, there's reasons to want to go down, there's reasons to want to go up, actually. Even all the way very high, you can get bonuses. But you have them all the way here, from very low to almost like deflation, all the way to hyperinflation, which of course is terrible. And these raise, they have a chance to raise every like month or 2 months. And those chances are, if you are like very low in debt, like you have no money pretty much, if you were very low stability, which I'm calling economic stability as well, sure. And then also other things, like if you have a huge military, that affects it. If you're in a war that's been going on for years, that also affects it. I think that's cool as well. So over the longer a war lasts, the harder it is to deal with inflation, so that incentivizes fighting quicker wars in that way. And stuff like that. So this will raise every so often. But then, like I said, I've added ways to actually decrease it. So we tab back to Germany. You can click decrease inflation here, and this will take a couple days, and then it will have its own little event. And you can choose between a couple of things. This is just more like neat stuff. But again, these are the things that you can choose to have AI do for you, so you don't have to care about this kind of stuff. But you can either do something quick and do like one quick thing that'll help with inflation, but will also hurt you more in the meantime. Or you can do something that takes a lot longer, but you can actually do multiple of them and shit like that. So let's see, and you have like different ones. You do that, and you get a little idea. Again, of course, very work in progress. It's just a guy pushing a boulder. And it hurts you a little bit, and then it'll eventually be removed. And when it's removed, you will lose inflation. If you do a higher one, you can lose more inflation percentage. But of course, the bonuses hurt more, or the malices hurt more. That's how you deal with that. Also, you can take loans. Shit, why not? If you're adding all this, you can also take loans. You can get money from this for free, but eventually you have to pay it back with quite a bit of interest as well. So that can also get you in trouble, and AI can do that too. Let's see if anyone did that. Maybe you'll find them. I believe I also added like an AI thing, so they can't quite do it like right away, which I thought made sense. I mean, you'll find it eventually. But anyway, that is pretty much it. I know it sounds complicated, but like I said, if you don't care about it, all you have to worry about is that you're building civs, and you keep your army under control if it gets too bad. And if it does get too bad, you can just change your laws around until you make more money, pretty much. If you want to handle inflation, you can, or you can just ignore it. And the reason I want to do this, I'm going to kind of hint at something, which I've already hinted at before, is I want to do stuff with the United States. And what I want to do with the United States involves inflation as a factor. Like, I want inflation to matter when you're playing the United States. And that's all I'll say about it. I don't want to spoil too much. But that really helps for that. It helps for other mechanics. I can probably intertwine it with MIFO bills as well. That makes more sense. Stuff like that, I think, is really neat. So it's a simple thing. It's a thing you can ignore if you like, but does add some like nice features, even if you don't really care. Will be, of course, very valuable to the US and other stuff like that. And also has more variation for other countries, shows more effects of warfare, which is important. And you could also just say that it's more realistic. I know it's a buzzword, but you could say that. But yeah, that is pretty much it. Alright, so with all this being said, I also want to quickly mention that I'm going to release a poll in my community tab, so please go to that, and it will have 3 options for you. 1 is to keep this, you like it. 2 is that you still don't like this, you want to get rid of all of it. And 3 is to get rid of everything but the inflation mechanic. That way I can still use it for other content in the future and other mechanics, but that way that's all that's added. So those are the 3 options. It'll be in a poll in my community tab. Please go vote. And if a majority of you guys don't want it, and it has a lot of answers, I will listen to you. But I hope that this has convinced you, not just because I've spent some time actually trying to implement this, but also because I've actually tried to explain it. I've showed it off to you. You see how it works. You see how complicated it is, or how not complicated it is compared to other mods. Like Millennium Dawn, like TNO, all the other stuff. You hear economy and you cringe. You think of those. So I hope I've convinced you, and if not, that's okay. You can still make your voice heard, of course. That's one of the things I like about this channel. But with that, that is about it. I'm going to leave you here. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day or night or whatever it is. Thank you so much for my members. I appreciate you guys a lot. And thank you so much for you if you're watching to the end of this video. That's cool too. So you guys have a good rest of your day. See ya.